Our story opens with a man named Jang Yuk. He's a little on the heavy side, but life is finally looking up because he's just landed a steady job as an engineer. The trouble is, right now he's stuck in a hospital bed, fighting a case of hepatitis B. It's an illness that spreads through bodily fluids, not through the air, but nobody around him seems willing to believe that. His own parents come to visit only once, and even then they keep their distance, terrified of catching whatever he has. His friends and coworkers are no better. Not a single one stops by. They just send the occasional text to ask how he's holding up. Even the other patients sharing his room treat him like he's radioactive. They actually ask the nurse to draw the curtains around his bed, scared they might get sick too. It's as if the poor guy has an invisible force field around him, keeping everyone away. But every gloomy story needs a little light, and his comes in the form of a nurse named Da-eun. She takes care of him without a hint of fear, brushing off every warning the others throw her way. She goes above and beyond, even giving his IV bag a playful little kiss for good luck. Always cheerful, always trying to lift his spirits and help him heal. For Jang Yuk, everything starts to change. This is sweet and sour. Then, one night, Jang Yuk sneaks out of his room and wanders down the quiet hospital hallway. That's when he runs into Da-eun, tucked away under the stairs, sneaking a cigarette. He spots a ring on her finger and assumes she must be married, but she quickly sets him straight. It's just a graduation ring, nothing more. And then she opens up to him. She admits she isn't as lucky as he is with his stable job. She's only a contract worker, scraping by through long, exhausting shifts. Lately, the stress and fatigue have piled up so much that she picked up smoking just to cope, but right in the middle of their heart-to-heart, the head nurse appears out of nowhere and catches them both. She lays into Da-eun for smoking inside the hospital. Thinking fast, Da-eun pins the blame on Jang Yuk, pretends the cigarettes are his, and even scolds him for show before slipping away. The next day, she comes back to apologize and to thank him for covering for her. She helps herself to some food right off his tray, and he doesn't mind one bit. On her way out, she warns the other patients not to tease him or give him a hard time just because he's sick. That night, she stops by again to check on him, but she's so worn out that she ends up falling asleep right there at his bedside. She's been feeling even more drained ever since she gave up coffee and cigarettes. Seeing how tired and stressed she is, Jang Yuk decides to look after her for a change. He leaves her sweet little notes, treats her to good meals, saves a spot on his bed so she can rest, and always makes sure to wake her before anyone notices. They start taking slow walks down the hallway together, talking through whatever's weighing on them. Da-eun is so grateful for all of it that she sticks a cute little love sticker on his bandage as a thank you. Still, she doesn't want anyone to know how close they've become, so whenever the doctor or the other nurses are around, she acts like she barely knows him. A few days later, Jang Yuk gets the news he's been waiting for. He's fully recovered, and the doctor says he can finally go home. The catch is that going home means leaving Da-eun behind, and that thought leaves him feeling pretty low. On his last night, he plans to surprise her with a flower as a parting gift, but when the time comes, it's the head nurse on duty, not Da-eun. The next day, she doesn't show up at the hospital at all, so he heads home frustrated and confused. Over dinner with his buddies, they joke that maybe Da-eun was never real at all, just something his sick mind dreamed up. But he's certain she exists, and he refuses to let it go. He returns to the hospital to track her down, but comes up empty. Desperate, he sneaks a look at the hospital phone records and tries to piece together her number from memory. The head nurse nearly catches him, but after a few wrong tries, he finally dials the right one, and Da-eun picks up. It turns out she'd taken some time off because she wasn't feeling well. Relieved that she wasn't avoiding him after all, he works up the courage to tell her how he feels. She invites him over to her place, and he rushes there in his dad's car. Things start off a little awkward between them, but soon they're talking easily, and she asks him to stay the night since she's feeling lonely. The next morning, he's changing her light bulbs and cooking her breakfast. His kindness moves her so much that she tears up.
전구 갈아줘서 고마워요.
네?
And then she kisses him. After all those sweet moments, the two of them grow even closer. They spend all their time together, and Jang Yuk turns into the most thoughtful partner imaginable. He has food delivered to her at work and picks her up at the end of her shifts, which leaves her coworkers a little envious of all the attention. One day, he notices she isn't wearing her ring anymore, and she tells him she lost it. Around the same time, she wins a vacation for two to Jeju Island and invites him along, which he happily accepts. They go shopping together, and when they try to grab matching couple shirts, his mood sours because the shirt is just too small for him. She does her best to cheer him back up. When the big day finally arrives, Da-eun is waiting eagerly at the airport. He comes rushing in, and she lights up the moment she sees him. She surprises him with matching sneakers, one pair for each of them. He's absolutely thrilled and decides then and there to drop some weight by working out in those new shoes. Before long, we see a fitter, more athletic Jang-yuk out jogging in the mornings. The two move in together, and he makes her breakfast every day before heading to work. Then his boss drops some big news. He's getting a promotion, but it comes with a transfer to the company headquarters in Seoul. He breaks the news to Da-eun while they sit together in the hospital cafeteria. Suddenly, a group of nurses walks in, and Da-eun quickly shoos him off, still keeping their relationship a secret from her co-workers. One day, Jang-yuk picks her up in a shiny new car and tells her he's been driving back and forth between Seoul and Incheon just to be near her. Then he surprises her with a ring, sliding it onto her finger. Now he starts his new job at headquarters, but there's someone else gunning for the same promotion, a sharp and competitive woman named Bo-young. She's constantly scheming to make him look bad in front of the boss. One time, he buys coffee for the whole office, the boss included, but Bo-young swoops in and hands it all out like she's the hero who thought of it. She even passes him a deliberately flawed task, so that the boss ends up chewing him out. When he gets home, he vents to Da-eun about how brutal work has been and all the trouble Bo-young is stirring up. He barely lets her get a word in and just tells her to start planning a trip to Jeju, but the tables soon turn. When it's Bo-young's turn to present, Jang-yuk points out that her design is dangerous and could send a bridge crashing down. The boss orders her to redo the whole thing. Now he gets to leave early, while she's stuck working late to clean up her mess. The downside is that the endless commute between Seoul and Incheon starts to wear him down. He's exhausted all the time and keeps falling asleep the moment he tries to talk to Da-eun. The next morning, he can't even find her, because she's already left for work. Over the phone, they agree that he should just rent a place in Seoul and visit her on weekends, so he can rest up and focus on the job. Meanwhile, things keep sliding for Bo-young. All those late nights are taking a toll, and she's starting to look pale and run down. He gently suggests she ease up on the late-night snacking, but it only sets her off. She snaps that she's stressed precisely because he keeps criticizing her work and slowing her down. Feeling guilty, he decides to stay late and help her finish. What he doesn't notice is that Da-eun has texted him, asking if he's coming to visit. The next day, the two of them present their design, and the boss is genuinely impressed. To celebrate, the whole team goes out for dinner and drinks, though Jang-yuk has to sit out the drinking because of his health. Late that night, he finally makes it to Da-eun's apartment, but she's gone, working the night shift. She's asked him to change a light bulb while she's out, but he dozes off and forgets all about it. The following day, the boss praises the two of them again for teaming up on such a strong project, and soon they're paired together on more and more work. Neither of them minds, since by now they know each other pretty well. The trouble is, Jang-yuk keeps staying late with Bo-young and canceling on Da-eun. They hardly see each other anymore, and Da-eun grows more and more frustrated because there's something important she needs to tell him, but it keeps getting pushed aside by his busy schedule. After he and Bo-young nail yet another project, he takes her out to celebrate over dinner. While they're out, Da-eun calls to check on him, but he lies and says he's stuck working late and can't see her. Then, one night, Bo-young makes a move on him, but his thoughts drift to Da-eun, and he decides to go to her instead. When he arrives, he finds a pile of garbage sitting by her door. She's hurt that he never fixed the broken light or took out the trash, and the two start arguing. That's when she drops a bombshell. She's missed her period, and she believes she's carrying his child. But instead of joy, his face only fills with more frustration. He's nowhere near ready for fatherhood or marriage. The next day, he skips work and takes her to the clinic for a checkup. She's overjoyed to have him by her side for the whole visit, but the calls and messages from the office keep coming, so eventually she tells him to just go back to work. For a while, he tries to be more considerate. He checks in on her often, cuts back on overtime, and even goes back to making that long drive between Seoul and Incheon just to be with her. The cost, though, is his job. He starts showing up late and nodding off at his desk. Bo-young calls him out, warning him that their work is suffering. So he swings back the other way, returning to those late nights with Bo-young and leaving Da-eun home alone. One evening, they go shopping, but he's clearly checked out, grumbling about the crowds and just wanting to eat and go home. In the car, Da-eun confronts him about his attitude and the way he seems to be avoiding her. He denies it, but then he slips, accidentally calling her by Bo Young's name.
울지 말자, 우리 예쁜 보영이, 응?
Da-eun is furious, convinced he's having an affair. The fight explodes, and that's when she reveals the most painful blow of all. She's had an abortion. He coldly tells her he doesn't care, that he never wanted the baby in the first place. After dropping her off, he drives back to Seoul, fuming. The next day, his engagement ring finally arrives, but instead of giving it to Da-eun, he tucks it away in a pencil case at the office. He and Bo Young keep working side by side late into the night, and with all that time together, the tension between them turns romantic. Eventually, he kisses her, and things heat up between the two of them. But after a while, the restlessness creeps back in, and he finds himself missing Da-eun again. Then a text from a travel agent confirms his trip to Jeju. He messages Da-eun, telling her she may as well use her ticket with someone else. Still, he can't stop thinking about her, especially when he notices her profile picture still says she loves him. When both he and Bo Young fail to land permanent positions at the company, he tells her over dinner with their co-workers that he's heading back to his old job in Incheon. She shares that she's planning to study abroad. The thought of parting ways with her leaves him feeling down. Then he checks Da-eun's profile again and sees it's changed to something about Christmas in Jeju. In that moment, he decides he wants her back, and he grabs the engagement ring he'd meant for her all along. Their flight to Jeju is set for that very night. Realizing he still loves her, he races to the airport in a taxi. When he arrives, he spots Da-eun waiting on the sidewalk out front. He leaps out and rushes toward her, but on the way he collides with another man and tumbles to the ground. And here's the twist. The man he crashes into is the heavy-set Jung-yuk from the very beginning of the film, and his full name is Lee Jung-yuk. As it turns out, the two Jung-yuks were never the same person at all. Da-eun met Jung-yuk about 2 years earlier when an accident landed him in the hospital. She cared for him there, and the two grew close. She even gave him a pair of sneakers just like the ones she later gave the other Jung-yuk. They fell in love and moved in together, but once the first Jung-yuk left for his job in Seoul and started spending less and less time with her, Da-eun found comfort in Lee Jang-yuk, the patient with hepatitis B. The two storylines have been unfolding side by side this whole time. Feeling neglected by her partner, she leaned more and more on Lee Jang-yuk, who could give her everything the other man couldn't, right down to changing a simple light bulb. Her pregnancy is the real reason she was always so tired and sleepy at work. And as Lee Jang-yuk kept showing her how thoughtful he could be, she grew more and more at ease with him. After ending things with the first Jang-yuk, she slipped off her ring and told Lee Jang-yuk that she'd lost it. So, back at the airport, Da-eun chooses to help Lee Jang-yuk, ignoring her ex-boyfriend's shouts entirely. She and Lee Jang-yuk set off for Jeju together, while the first Jang-yuk turns around and heads back to the party to find Bo Young. There, Bo Young tells him she's just won a Christmas trip to Jeju and suggests the two of them go together. He tells her that he loves her, but deep down, his heart still belongs to Da-eun. And that's where the film leaves us. So the moral of the story is never get so busy chasing promotions that you accidentally lose your girlfriend, your baby, your trip to Jeju, and get replaced by a guy who actually remembers to change a light bulb.